Hey everybody on Facebook. I'm live here on Facebook Live as well as Instagram Live. Thank you everybody for joining me. We're live here in our Functional Medicine Health Center where we see patients around the world via our virtual functional medicine practice. Mainly we see patients via webcam consultations, and we see patients locally in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. And I apologize for my casual look today. Tuesdays are our case development and deep dives into our patients' cases, and where I write and we do research and a lot of great stuff for you guys online as well, obviously primarily for our patients. So today we're going to talk all about Ketotarian, which is my new plant-based ketogenic book, where it has lots of awesome information in here. But I've been busy seeing patients and consulting, and then I travel on the weekends to talk about the book. So I haven't had time to talk to you guys about the book and kind of talk to my friends on Facebook and Instagram. So I wanted to take some time today on my day where I'm not seeing patients to talk to you about Ketotarian. If you guys have any questions about the book, whether you bought Ketotarian or you didn't buy Ketotarian, you guys can just ask me in the comment section below. And if you guys are watching this on replay, either on Facebook or Instagram, on Facebook, you can just comment in the comment section below and we'll answer your questions when we see it. And on Instagram, you can always DM us too and answer any questions that you have. But for those of you that don't know, Ketotarian is really the amalgamation of being the best of both worlds. It is being plant-based and ketogenic. So we have vegan and we have vegetarian and pescatarian options. You have vegan keto, vegetarian keto, and vegetarian and pescatarian keto, if I didn't say that. And I see Jimmy Moore's on here. And we're recording Keto Talk, an episode of Keto Talk, which is a podcast that we do every week. It airs on Thursdays. Go check it out on Apple iTunes, on Apple Podcasts. So if you guys have any questions, again, you can ask me. I don't think I'm seeing any questions here. Someone's saying, is your book being sold in Canada? The answer is yes. You can get it on Amazon.ca, and it's in a lot of Costco's there as well in Canada, as well as in some Costco's here in the United States. So thanks for the question here. Yes, and Jimmy Moore mentioned on Instagram that you can check out Keto Talk at ketotalk.com. And that's a great question. Thank you here. And yes, thanks for the kind words here. I'll make sure I didn't miss anything here. All right, guys. So yeah, when Keto Talk launched, when I came on Keto Talk a year or so, more than a year ago, it was already going on with another doctor. So I got to kind of step into some awesome shoes and an already planted show. And we get to answer your questions about the ketogenic lifestyle every week and answer your sort of science nerd, health nerd questions, where we love to geek out about that stuff. And if you're trying the ketogenic diet out or want to learn more about it, Keto Talk's a good reference every week. So that's pretty cool. Ketotarian was really born out of my clinical experience and seeing how to do the ketogenic diet in a way that's clean and fresh and really still plant-centric for people that want to not abandon that way of eating. And half of the book is sort of science and health tips and all that kind of stuff. And then the other half of the book are recipes and pretty pictures and all that great practical stuff, as well as references and meal plans and all that really important stuff when you're trying to shift the foods that you eat. So one of the reasons why I wrote Ketotarian was to kind of let's give a solution to a clean way of eating the ketogenic diet without falling prey to the potential pitfalls of how the ketogenic diet is seen. I see a lot of it on social media when you check it out. And one of the things that I saw going wrong is just because something's high fat and low carb, just because something's keto, doesn't make it ultimately healthy. And I would say no from a functional medicine standpoint. And just because it's high fat, low carb, just because it's keto doesn't mean it's necessarily necessarily healthy for long term. And I think a lot of people have a sort of honeymoon period with the ketogenic diet where they are off of a lot of the carb junk food, they're off of refined sugars and processed stuff, and their body's producing ketones. You're going to get the benefits of that, and they have this honeymoon period of the conventional ketogenic diet. And what I find is oftentimes people get stuck at a plateau, or they don't do well on lots of meat and dairy, and they want alternatives when we're talking about a sustainable lifestyle with the ketogenic diet. So the way that I wrote Ketotarian is it's plant-based, it's plant-centric, and it doesn't have to be either or, where you're being plant-based or being ketogenic. You can really have the alchemy of both ways of eating. And there are amazing clinical applications. There's amazing health benefits to being fat adapted and producing ketones naturally. It's anti-inflammatory. You become a fat burner. So you're shifting your metabolism from being a sugar burner to a fat burner. It increases brain function and increases mitochondrial function. But probably the most exciting thing for me as a functional medicine practitioner is its anti-inflammatory benefits. The fact that it lowers NF-kappa B, it lowers these inflammatory proteins, it increases antioxidant pathways like the AMPK pathway. So let's do that, but let's amplify its benefits. Let's amplify the benefits of being fat adapted by still being plant-centric. And you can focus on all these really nutrient-dense plant foods, healthy plant fats like avocados, and nuts and seeds and olives and olive oil, and vegetarian fats like organic eggs and ghee, as well as pescatarian fats if you choose to do so, like wild caught fish. It's all very clean and fresh, and that's really what Ketotarian is. So for those of you that are just joining us for the first time, we're talking about my book, Ketotarian. You can shop it in the link below on Facebook. On Instagram, you can go to Amazon or drwillcole.com. And there's also an audiobook here for the old school people that still listen to CDs. They sell the CD on Amazon, but they also have Audible. You can check it out on Audible, and they have other forms of the book too. They have the ebook for the people that like the ebooks. All right, guys, I'm going to answer some questions. Someone said, Amy Durham said, I haven't got my book yet, but follow you regularly. Do you have trouble getting all your protein in without the meat or dairy? Absolutely not. You really, I think, first of all, the ketogenic diet is high fat, moderate protein, lower carbohydrate. It's not an Atkins diet. That's not the goal of it, to be just high protein for the sake of it. And there's many reasons for that. One of them is that can throw you out of ketosis. It can increase gluconeogenesis, or basically making new glucose out of too much protein for your body. But so the protein sources in Ketotarian, the clean protein sources would be the vegan keto options would be fermented soy, like organic non-GMO fermented soy like tempeh and natto, as well as hemp variations of that like hemp fu and hempeh, as well as nuts and seeds, which are good protein sources, spirulina, which is good nuts protein sources, and vegetables have varying amounts of protein as well. And then you have the vegetarian protein sources like eggs, and obviously the pescatarian, you have clean fish as well. So those are all different options for people. Obviously, if you're vegan or vegetarian, you're going to have different options as a pescatarian, which can have all three of those options for your Ketotarian lifestyle. I'm missing all these questions on Instagram. Thanks for all the questions on Instagram, guys. Someone says, how does going keto help or hinder a workout? So it is clean fuel for your metabolism. So your body can actually burn more efficiently, and you're creating metabolic flexibility. In Ketotarian, I talk about going 8 weeks plant-based keto. So you're kind of shifting your metabolism to being a fat burner. And that's a lot of metabolic strength. It's like a log on the fire. So most people notice that they have more energy and can work out longer because their body has lower inflammation. The body is more metabolically flexible. They're not so bound by this blood sugar roller coaster that many people are strapped to. and this is something that people notice. Sometimes people have to increase their calories during a workout or around the workout. Some people like to increase their carbs a little bit from real food, healthy carbohydrates around a workout. Some people like to do that more cyclical, targeted ketotarian approach around workouts if it's a heavier workout. But most people don't have to do that because they're in such a strong metabolic place. So that's something that we see a lot with people reading the book, I see on social media, as well as obviously patients. Someone said here on Instagram, they're beating you, Facebook. Instagram is beating you with all the good questions. So be sure to ask us questions if you want to do so. Someone's saying, love your book. Do you have a favorite app to track your macros for a beginner? So in Ketotarian, I have a lot of keeping it simple options. You don't have to track macros if you don't want. You can just focus on the foods and just go off of how you feel. I kind of like that way. But if you want to become more attuned or conscious of where your foods are coming from, that is definitely probably needed for people that are really new to food and where their food energy is coming from as far as its macronutrient constituents, breakdown between proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, which are macronutrients. My favorite is the Keto Diet app, and I like, as far as apps are concerned, and I also really, really love, probably more than anything, is Chronometer, or Chronometer. Chronometer is great because it looks at macronutrients, but also looks at micronutrients, all the vitamins and minerals that you're getting from being plant-based keto and ketotarian, because micronutrients are really important too, not just macronutrients. Good questions, guys. I'm going to scroll back here. All right. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss anything. Someone says, what do you think of the medical medium and his advice? He says eggs are not good, so tired of all the information. I love your book. The medical medium, Anthony Williams, is, you know, I'm sure he has a good heart. I'm sure there's a lot of good things that comes out of it. And I think some of his, he's bringing enlightenment and education about viral infections, which is something that we've seen in functional medicine for a long time. So I think chronic viral infections are a major deal for a lot of people and something that should be looked in more. I think that the benefits of the medical medium come from real food. I think that he's coming from a vegan standpoint and a high carb vegan standpoint where it has its limitations. I think just because something's better doesn't mean it's optimal for long-term wellness. So just like we picked on the ketogenic conventionally done, I can pick on the plant-based world conventionally done too. And a lot of people will tell you they depend on tons of fruits and legumes and starches and grains for their whole foundation of their meal. They're not going to feel long-term. So what does the medical medium say then? And the problem isn't any other reason other than the amount of sugar, even if it's real food sugar, is impacting people's guts, in people's metabolism, impacting people's inflammation levels. And this is something that on labs you can quantify. This is just a direct result of that, and there's many studies to show that. I think he's bringing a lot of awareness to certain things I think are great. We have a lot of common friends together, and I don't have anything negative to say about him personally. I think if it works for you, great. I think a lot of times people will say they can get a few nuggets of great information from him, but everything what he's saying, and he starts demonizing certain foods that we know are nutrient dense and quite healing, I think are problematic. With that said, you mentioned eggs specifically. Conventional eggs, I would agree with the medical medium, but it's not the eggs inherently, it's what we've done to the eggs. They're fed soy, the chickens are treated really poorly, but organic, pasture-raised, clean eggs, that's actually the true untapped nutrient-dense multivitamin that nature provides us with tons of bioavailable vitamins like choline and B vitamins and omega fats that you will not get in plant foods alone unless you supplement with that. So that's what I would say about the medical medium. Hope that answers your question. And someone says, I'm taking a car trip. What are good snacks to bring? Well, in Ketotarian, there's actually a Ketotarian on the go section. I'll see if I can find it quickly without boring you guys. Thank you guys for the awesome questions. I appreciate that. How are we doing on time, Yvette? Okay. So, I don't know exactly where it's, oh, someone, Instagram is paused. I don't know if you guys are gone or not. Are you guys still there? Anyways, so if you guys are not there on Instagram anymore, I don't know. But basically there's a section in Ketotarian where it talks about Ketotarian on the go. But I love canned olives. You can do, if you're pescatarian, you canned sardines or canned salmon. You can do lots of trail mixes with nuts and seeds. You can do the single serving packets of almond butter or cashew butter or peanut butter if you like peanut butter. And there's a lot of great options today that you can get at Whole Foods or Target or Costco, at Aldi, where there's single serving packets of coconut oil or olive oil or the nut butters that I think are great. Those are things that I do. And there's more in the book, but there's the ones that come to mind. All right, guys, I think everybody on Instagram is still here. I can't really tell. And everybody on Facebook too. Oh, I got some questions. So we have a couple more minutes. I'll answer a few more questions. Someone says, I only eat fish and turkey, try to stay away from sugar, would like to do the keto lose weight. Would this book help me? Well, obviously I don't know your health case specifically to know the ins and outs of you, but as a general rule, absolutely. This is a great, clean, nutrient-dense way, real food way for people to become fat adapted. So I would say absolutely as a general rule, and this is something that I love and I've seen work in thousands of patients' lives over the years. All right. Someone's saying, still grateful for this book. I've been keto for years, but for the past year have been leaning more and more towards vegetarian keto, but I add fish. When I finally saw this book, I was like, finally, thank you so much. Well, yeah, you are doing intuitively what Ketotarian is. I love that. I love that it resonated with you, Tanya. Thanks so much. And so Cheryl Kolba is saying, thank you, Dr. Cole, for your life-saving health information. That really means a lot, Cheryl. Thank you so much. And Sandy Tucker Rodriguez says, I love your book. Thanks so much, Sandy. All right, guys. Awesome questions. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. Tori will answer one more question, guys, and then we'll go. Tori says, helpful things to eat to help arthritis in the fingers. I have osteoarthritis or OA, but I'm only 30. I'm sorry, Tori. You're going through that. So one of the main clinical applications that I love about ketosis, which we talked about at the start of the conversation, is it's an anti-inflammatory. It's an epigenetic modulator, which means it works on all these really cool pathways in our body. And one of the ways, it's this really strong anti-inflammatory, so it down-regulates NF-kappa B, which is associated with arthritis, and decreases all these other pro-inflammatory cytokines and inflammasomes that you don't want. And it upregulates these pro-antioxidant pathways too. So it's at the end, the summary of that is it lowers inflammation levels. Awesome. So Nikki, I'm being told to wrap up, guys. I keep seeing these questions and I keep wanting to ask them. Nikki's saying, both my mom and aunt suffer from severe pain. I know your diet could help them. How can I convince them to stop eating crap? They are so stubborn. Wow, that is a life lesson for all of us, isn't it? And you cannot care about their health more than they do. Well, you can, but you really, it's going to lead to a lot of frustration and heartache, and ultimately it could lead to you passing judgment on them. And I don't think that's a healthy place to be in. They're on their own journey. You can have to say what you say in love and grace and realize then you have to let it go and they have to take it. And it's like that old cliche of you can lead to horse to water, but you can't make it drink. They have to take that initiative to own it for themselves. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just live your life. Live your life with positivity. Be someone that they want to be. And they don't want someone to be dogmatic and preaching to them. They'll see through your example of your healthy things that you're seeing in your life. So that's what I would say for that. But it can be frustrating. Maybe just give them a copy of a good book like Ketotarian and say, hey, look, read this when you want to. I think some things will resonate from that. And even if they don't do everything in the book, even if they do something, it's not all or nothing. I think they still can get some good benefits specific to their pain, but also other inflammatory health issues too, which we know inflammation is really the commonality between a lot of health problems. All right, guys, I know I'm not getting to all your questions. I'm really sorry, but I will be back next week and we'll answer your questions later on. So just ask the questions, even if we're offline, even if you're watching this on replay, we'll try to get to all of them. And also we'll be back next Tuesday too, to do some more of this as well. And yes, Carolyn, I just can't quit this. Carolyn, yes, this complements the Walls Protocol. Terry actually wrote a blurb for the book right on the back of the cover for everybody that's watching this. So yes, for Walls Protocol, for people who want to know about that, there's many Walls-friendly recipes in the book. Actually, they all are. Terry doesn't have eggs, but there's many egg-free, completely plant-based, and pescatarian options for people who do not tolerate eggs. Because some people have egg sensitivities. All right, guys, we're all different, and I'll talk to you guys next week on Facebook Live and Instagram Live. I'll see you later.